Our coverage here from Radio Row at Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, Nevada rolls on, and Sarah and I are now this is a revolving door, but this isn't just any door right here. The main man, Hall of Famer Jonathan Ogden, joins us, and this is your part of the world. I only see you in Baltimore typically. Sarah does too, but now this is your neck of the woods, and we're so glad to be with you.
It's nice to be out here, man. I mean, I really wish the Ravens were here, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it's just nice to have the Super Bowl out here in my hometown where I'm living for the last 20 years, give or take, and just enjoying everything.
So I gotta tell this story, though, Jay, okay? So in 2005 was my intern year with the Ravens.
Yep.
And PR's like, you got to go get an interview with J.O. And I was like, oh, man. I was like, is he going to be nice? Like, I was brand new to it. You were like, come on. And you had to be on the bike that day. And so you had me come in the weight room with you. You were biking and gave me your entire workout. And I was like, oh, people said NFL players weren't nice. I was like, this is the nicest guy in the world. So I appreciate you for breaking, helping me.
You were always, look, I always try to treat everybody in the building, and most people in the Ravens building try to treat everybody with respect and as equals. And, we know you're there to do a job, and if I can help, if you got to, when I'm on the bike, if I can do it, we can do it.
Yeah.
Make it work.
we made it work all right.
Yep. So you were there, right, for the AFC title game?
Yeah, I was there.
Believe you were on the field.
Yeah, I was on the field.
You're doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Enjoying the moments.
Yeah.
It felt like the Super Bowl pregame. There was a who's who. There were the place was jam-packed. Everybody was there. And then, of course, it comes to a screeching halt. Why? What happened in your perspective?
It was an excellent coaching job by the Chiefs' defensive staff, honestly. I mean, because Lamar and the offense did not look like they knew what they wanted to do. And they never made adjustments. They only had 6 carries for the running backs. So they obviously had them completely discombobulated, disorganized as to what they wanted to do offensively. And nothing, and then when they would make a play, the fumble happened, diving in or the fumbles. I mean, the guys would get beat, Lamar throwing into the
triple coverage.
I mean, just the sacks that Justice Hill gave up or Ronnie. It was just bad timing for everything. And the sad part is, the defense started out kind of slow, struggling a bit, but they figured it out. They got it together, and they held them to a 3. I mean, so the defense did their job, but the offense just picked the absolute worst time to play the worst game of the year.
I guess that's like kind of the question that a lot of Ravens fans have, right? Because you're right. They picked the wrong time in 2023 to have their worst game. But the same thing happened in 2019. Is there like a psychology to that, or is that just coincidence?
I think it's just coincidence. I think 2019 was a little different, I think. The team wasn't as balanced.
Yeah.
I just think that this year, I mean, the Houston game, the first half was a little dicey, but we came back in the second half. And really, I thought that might have been a little bit rust. But no, we came back and we executed great in the second half. So I thought, okay, we're back. We're on track.
Yeah.
And then that championship game, it just was like they were completely surprised and shell-shocked by what the Chiefs were doing. I mean, they were playing them nickel coverage, and they didn't want to run the ball. I don't understand that. But whatever they did, I give them credit. I don't want to take credit from the Chiefs' defense, but I love how people talk about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is one of the best to ever do it. But the defense won that game.
Amen.
I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah. I guess the positive twist is, like, why burn it down, right? Like, no need to make any rash decisions in terms of, like, organizational, right? They got another step they hadn't been in the Lamar era.
Yeah.
The majority of their young core are locked up contractually for the foreseeable future. Yeah, you have some holes to address this offseason, but what team doesn't? Right. So the positive spin on it is like, hey, they were two plays away from, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they were right there. That's great, and that sucks, too, because you know how difficult it is to get back again next year. I mean, it's – we were so healthy. Everything was really going well for us. We lose Mike McDonald. We lose Weaver, so we're going to make some changes. I mean, it's every year, every team changes, though.
Yep.
So we're going to have the core, and we always have the front office. We bring in good players. So we're going to be competitive again, obviously, but it just sucks when you get so close. The home championship game, I was going to be the guy to give Bashotti the trophy. If we won,
I didn't know that.
I was going to be the Lamar Hunt guy.
Oh.
No.
And
when were you told this?
Before the game, they said, if we win the game, that we were going to have you come down and present
my
Lamar Hunt.
That's pretty cool.
And I didn't get to do that. So.
I just want to know if they get back there again. Like, is that going to be your moment? Like, they can't give it to anybody else.
No. Ray Lewis is taking the mantle because I'm superstitious.
Okay.
I did it this time. It didn't work out. Okay, I'm not doing it anymore.
I like that. I like that.
You
That's
know,
very
I'm the opposite of
yes, you are.
superstitious.
But
I do not.
That's the sacrifice that I would expect from Jo.
That's right.
You know?
That's right, man. We sacrifice for the good of the team.
Yeah. All right, Jo, we're gonna talk. Let's talk offensive line.
Okay.
So we know. Let's just talk about it generally. We know John Simpson. That was a 1-year deal, right? He's not coming back. We've got. Okay, let's start with Ronnie Stanley because that's your position.
Okay.
When he's healthy, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Hasn't been healthy, but he even said he kind of changed his technique a little bit this year too because he couldn't do what he wanted to do because of the injuries.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him? Should fans not give up on him? Like, what do you think?
I think Ronnie is still, like you said, when he's healthy, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. But it's a question of how healthy is he?
Yeah.
And that's a decision that the front office is going to have to make. And, it's not – we know he's a smart player, tough guy.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult to play when you can't do the things you want to do physically.
Like, he couldn't anchor.
Exactly. I know the feeling because my last year I couldn't anchor because I had a bad toe.
Your toe.
And I couldn't stop a bull rush to save my life. Nobody bull rushed me for 10 years in my career because they knew it was a futile move. And then they started to do it because they knew I couldn't anchor.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's like I love Ronnie. I think he's been a great Raven. But the question is, how healthy will he be?
Right.
John Simpson had a good year, but we'll see. I mean, people are talking about us looking at offensive line in the draft. I mean, we'll get there when we get there. But, I mean, I think overall the line played well. Tyler Linderbaum has been a solid player, obviously. Zeitler went to the Pro Bowl. Morgan, good player. I mean, we're solid up front, but we could use a little more oomph, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
Jo, were you surprised that the rotation worked as effectively as it did at tackle, or was that kind of like you're rolling your eyes?
Well, no, it's kind of because we have some good depth. I mean, Makari played really well as a backup. He's a really great jack of all trades. He can play any position. And Daniel, he's actually coming along.
Okay.
So, is he in your size category?
I'm pretty sure.
I think he might be.
But I mean, we'll see how it continues to develop.
But you're not thinking, okay, he's like you're saying he's coming along, but not something you can say, okay, plug him in as the starter.
Not yet. I don't think. I haven't seen enough. Like, I'm not in the building enough. All I see is what I've seen on the field.
Right.
So from what I've seen on the field, it's been okay. It's been better than I thought we might get, but not quite full-time 17-game starter.
Okay. In April, if somebody falls to them that they love on the board at left tackle, I'm not saying that they want to replace Ronnie this upcoming season. He's under contract. But do you think it's time to maybe start retooling from a depth standpoint?
I played left guard my rookie year. I mean, if you got a guy who you think can be that guy and they're there, you take them. I mean, and you just worry about it later. Because a good lineman can play somewhere. And like you said, if Ronnie doesn't pan out or if we want to trade, whatever, there are options. But it never hurts to have good linemen. Yeah. Never.
Jonathan, when you retired, I remember it being kind of surprising. And I remember Ozzie saying that he felt like you could have played many more years. Did you, and I'm bringing this back to Ronnie, we'll talk about you individually, but I'm bringing this back to Ronnie. Did you kind of retire early because of the toe?
Yeah.
And you're, okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Because it was like, I don't want to be seen being bull rushed.
It just wasn't enjoyable, and I couldn't really play. Like
the way you wanted to.
The way I wanted to play.
Because you could play.
I could still play enough to maybe not enough to play. Not enough for me.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. And the pain, being in the training room my 12th year, I was in the training room every single day, getting treatment on my toe. Just putting orthotics in wearing size 17 shoes. I wore size 16 then. I wear 17 now because my feet are flat.
But, are you still growing?
But no, that was gravity flattening my feet, I think.
Okay.
But but I wore shoes that were too big so I could put the orthotics in, and it just was getting it taped up. It was just an ordeal.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I wasn't playing like I should be playing.
Right.
So it was time to go. And plus, we were also changing staffs, and Harbaugh was coming in. I would have, you go through all the whole stuff with a new team, and I just didn't feel like it.
So with that in mind, do you kind of do you get props for Ronnie? Because he's really been dealing this for 3 years now. What different injuries that it's like this year he got it through it.
Yeah.
And maybe there should be some appreciation there that he was willing to put his body on the line.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, there is and there isn't, because they say once you get out there, it doesn't matter. There's no excuses. Like, oh, he was injured. Yeah, so what? He was out there. But at the same time, you appreciate it when a guy is willing to go out there, and he might not be at his best, but if he's better than the guy who's behind him, then, hey, if he's helping the team out. But the good thing is, like I said, we have a good backup left tackle. So the rotation, I think, helped keep Ronnie somewhat healthier than if he had to play the full time. So, I mean, they got to figure out how they want to do it next year. It's going to be interesting, though. I don't know.
I remember going into the postseason thinking, is this sustainable throughout like an entire postseason run? Right. And although they didn't really use it in the divisional during the AFC title game, I think they used it a little bit during the divisional round.
They did.
And I was like, wow, okay, this is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
You just made me think of Marshall when he retired. It felt like he could keep going too. I don't know if he had a toe issue like you did, but like that's a guy who retired at like, I mean, look what he's done since in terms of transforming his body. Right. But that's somebody who like retired at his peak.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, Marshall. I mean, look, for every player, every lineman, every it doesn't matter. You have that moment when say, you know what, I think I'm just done with this game. Unfortunately, and most people get forced out of the game. Most people, it's not on their own choice. But the very lucky few of us who say, you know what, we're good.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you don't, no regrets, and you just look back and say, I had a great career. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But we're just moving on. The body doesn't like doing that anymore.
Yep.
It really helps when the body like says thank you, like thank you for not doing this to me anymore.
Appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah. What would it like? I remember you had quarterback after quarterback that you were blocking for.
Yeah.
This style of Lamar, would you have liked that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You willing to run with them?
There's structure. There's structure in the way they do things. I mean, Greg Roman's offense is a little different, but Monken, even though he called a terrible game plan last week, I mean, for overall has a good concept. To me, it was always about was a quarterback where he's supposed to be. Like if he dropped back for a pass and he's supposed to be at 7 yards, be at 7 yards. Now, if you got it, but it's also nice to have a guy who could move if necessary, and that's why Lamar is great because actually, if you watch him this year, he's very disciplined in where he's supposed to be.
Oh yeah,
yes.
and he actually tried to extend plays more passing.
Yes,
almost too much during the championship game. But yeah, he's definitely operating within the structure of the offense, and that's kind of what you really want.
Yeah, so much so that willingness to extend that some people have called his running or lack thereof like reluctant. Like they've called it like the R words come up in the sense that like maybe he didn't take what the defense gave him in a sense because he was so pass first. What do you think like psychologically goes into that, if at all?
I think there is something to the fact that you kind of want to prove that you can throw it, don't have to run it. But at the same time, you have to have enough confidence, I think he does in himself, to know that he knows he can run it or throw it, but he just needs to do whatever is going to work best that play. I think he's kind of getting there. I think next year we'll probably see him open it up a little more. And if there's 5 yards to be gained, take 5 yards instead of trying to make a big play. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I think he had a fantastic year. It's going to be the league MVP
tonight.
And, he just needs to continue to build on that. I mean, continue to just improve.
Did you see that sack strip?
Yes.
What happened? Can you break it down? Did you go back and look at it?
I didn't go back and look at it, but what it looked like Ronnie had the guy.
Yeah.
Lamar was waiting for a longer developing route over the middle, if I remember correctly. And the guy just kind of slipped off Ronnie and just kind of bent the corner.
Because Ronnie was winning it.
He was winning the battle, and then I looked at the quarterback, and then I looked back, and all of a sudden he was by Ronnie. And
suddenly you saw that he lost.
And suddenly I saw that the hand was coming on Lamar's right shoulder. I'm like, no. But I forget who it was, but the receiver was running open too.
Yeah.
He was running open on that play. It was going to be
there were so many of those.
Bateman.
Bateman.
And there were.
He can't ever catch a pass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like Rashad Bateman. I just feel like it's just they've had horrible luck with him.
Yes,
trying to get
he and Lamar together, cohesion-wise.
I mean, I think physically he has everything that is required. So I hope we utilize him more. Next year.
It'll be a big year for him.
Yeah.
Contractually speaking, I know you're up against the clock.
Yeah.
You're here representing the Tackle Obesity Campaign on behalf of the NFL Alumni Association, and hopefully you could tell us a little bit about what you've been up to these last couple of days.
He's got prepared remarks.
Oh, no. Well, I'm here, like I said, for the Tackling Obesity. It's a campaign created by NFL alumni to inspire personal action, engagement, and accountability amongst fans, and so it's just basically a program. Everybody, a lot of the former football players, this is a very heavy country. I battle being my weight all the time. I'm always been doing things to try to stay fit. But basically, this is a program to try to just help people try to battle obesity. And they go to tackleobesity.com to learn more. But it's not a disease. It's a chronic disease, obesity. It's not really a character flaw. So there are ways to help. People can coach you through it. And, diet and exercise isn't always enough. But go to tackleobesity.com, and they can give you a lot of information on what to do.
Okay.
All right?
Perfect.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
J.O., it's great seeing you
So
in a
good
place
to catch
outside
up,
of
man.
outside of
I
Baltimore.
I know.
Can you show everybody that ring?
So happy to see you.
Hey, show everybody that ring. There it is. There it is right there. There it is.
There it is.
Hey, I'll tell you what, too. We're going to be doing a bunch of draft coverage in April. We'd love to have you back. Maybe we can talk about that in the coming weeks.
Hey,
all right.
You never know with me. I'm around.
Always,
right.
always.
Okay.
And I know you got a busy off season too with events and whatnot.
Oh, my
and
goodness, I'm a busy
yeah.
person.
Hey, and Sarah, if there's ever time that needs to be killed at one of his events, I'm the guy.
Okay.
Remember when the ambulance wouldn't show up and you and I started doing a Q&A in front of everybody? At the time, Lamar wasn't signed yet. I'm like, hey, J.O., is he going to get signed or not? So anyway.
I was like, yes.
All right.
Be there. I knew he was going to be there, though.
Appreciate you, J.O.
Absolutely, guys.
Live from right here, Radio Row in Las Vegas, Nevada. Super Bowl 58 coverage rolls on.